of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Sports Zone.
So far, so very good for the Braves in the first two games against the Astros. Led by terrific pitching, great defense, and timely hitting, the Braves have taken the first two games of this series. And today, they look to complete a series sweep as Game 3 gets set to blast off here in Houston. Well, before we shuttle off to Philadelphia and leave Space City, we've got some unfinished business today here at Minute Maid Park. The Braves try to sweep away the Houston Astros in Game 3 of this series. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. With a 4-0 win last night, the Braves now a game back in the National League East. Let's see if they can polish off the Stros, their former National League foes today. Hi again, friends, with Paul Bird, Chip Carey. Welcome back to the ballpark. Partner of the Braves putting it all together in this series. And last night, a lot of fun. Great starting pitching, terrific bullpen work, good defense. And oh, how about Justin Upton, the big blow in the Braves shutout win.
Welcome back, Justin Upton, showing us that inner ear is fine and he's no longer dizzy. He did a little bit of everything, and watch this chip, crushes the ball to left field, almost hitting the train. How about that? Made some great defensive plays, as you see right here, little spin move by Chris Johnson. And then on the hanging slider, he destroys the ball to opposite field into the Astros bullpen, and a little slide catch right here. He's done a little bit of everything, and let's face it, the Braves have needed that timely hit, and he is a catalyst.
Hopefully that'll continue for the Braves today. Mike Minor gets the ball for Atlanta. Jared Cozart goes for the Stros in Game 3 of the series. Justin Upton, big hits, but the Braves offense doing all the little things right, too. Tom Hart will break that down for you as we wrap up our series deep in the heart of Texas right after this.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by
AT&T UVerse, Delta Airlines, and Ford.
Welcome back to Minute Maid Park as the Braves go for a series sweep against the Astros before we head on to Philly. Hey, my favorite umpiring crew is here with us today, and we're ready to get going for this day game in Houston. Welcome back to the ballpark, everybody. Chip and Paul talked about this offense and how they've pulled off some big hits, especially from the Upton brothers over the course of the first 2 games of this series. But it's the little things they've done, which has really paid off, especially after some anemic performances the last 2 games in Washington. And sometimes it's the things that don't show up in the box score. Twice last night, Jason Hayward was able to advance Evan Gattis via groundouts. He would later come back to score on one of those. Justin Upton with a sac fly. The Braves have scored 7 runs in this series. 4 runs have come via the long ball, 1 on a single, 1 on a sac fly, 1 on a Tommy La Stella groundout. The little things have certainly paid off for an offense which is prone to streaks and slumps. So Home Depot tools from the dugout. Over the last 36 games, the Braves have increased their average of runs by 1. The average with runners on is up 30 points, and average with runners in scoring position about the same. Sacrifice bunts and sac flies, a key for any team. Those are about even, but we're seeing more of the small stuff to make the big stuff happen for the Braves. And maybe today, as we finish up this series against the Astros, those little things will come together once again with the long balls and power the Braves to a series sweep. Much needed as the Braves close out the series with the Astros and head on to Philly. Chip and Paul will have a look at the lineups and first pitch next.
Wrap up their hostilities and this 3-game series. Cloudy, drizzly day this morning, but the skies are clearing in Houston, at least we hope. And hopefully Atlanta can sweep the Astros before we make our way to Philadelphia. There's the best news of the day as you see our Toyota starting lineup. Freddie Freeman's streak of starting every game for the Braves continues after being hit by a pitch last night. He had to come out of the game, first inning plus that Freeman has missed all year. It's his right elbow and triceps. He said it's sore. We'll see how he fares against Jared Cosart, a hard-throwing right-hander in this Houston rotation.
Jared Cosart, 24 years old. As you can see, little rough start in April, but in May and June he has been fantastic.
He's ready to go with B.J. Upton, who's leading off for the 3rd straight game for the Braves. Upton's got a homer, a double, and has scored 2 runs since moving into the number 1 spot on the lineup card. Now BJ has an even count. Cozart has really emerged for this Houston ball club. He's 7-5 this year. He's starting for the 16th time. And there's another guy, Paul, that gets the ball on the ground, throws hard, and this is the first time Atlanta has seen it.
Well, in 2013, he averaged 94.5 miles an hour on his cut fastball, which led all major league starters. And that pitch is electric.
Now, he just did something before that pitch that I haven't seen from a starter in a while. When he gets the glove and ball together at the belt, just as he gets set to make his pitch, see if he does it again. Glove flap. Haven't seen that in a while. As Upton skies one down the right field line, Springer gives chase, can't get there. It's a foul ball.
So his 4 keys to the game for Jared Cozart are this: no walks in the park. He's walked 70 in 148 major league innings, and when he gets in trouble, it's because he walks people. And look for the new slurve today. He's going to try to throw a slurve, which is in between a slider and a curveball. Never thrown it before, hoping that he can throw it today for a strike.
2-2 for Upton. And that might have been that slurve. It was off the plate.
So back to that question you asked me. When he starts coming set, he's going to hold that curveball grip, which is a spike curve. You'll see that knuckle up. And then when he gets the grip, changes to a fastball, he'll wiggle that glove. He's got to wiggle that glove every time so he doesn't give away the pitch.
BJ, a little flipper into right field. He's aboard to start the game. And Upton's 3 for 3 in games with hits, batting leadoff for the Braves. So let's see if his speed's in play in the opening inning. Here's Tommy La Stella. Kid second baseman having a tough time at the plate. He's got to make some adjustments now. He's 0 for his last 16 and 3 hits in his last 37 at bats. Upton has a good lead. Not going. And La Stella showed bunt. 1 ball, no strikes. This is the combination the Braves envision with Upton and La Stella. Tommy, a good contact hitter. Upton with a lot of speed. A lot of options for Freddie Gonzalez offensively here.
I know we're only a few games in, but they're excited at what they see about B.J. Upton with the leadoff. He had a big double to right center last night. And as you see right there, just putting the ball in play on that cutter and rewarded with a base hit.
He's running. Good jump. Castro takes a strike and throws a strike to second. It skips into center field. Marwin Gonzalez couldn't hang on, and Upton steals a base and moves to third on the error. Like it. Braves aggressive here in the first inning.
Excellent jump, and watch this pop-up slide right here, Chip. He pops up so that he has the ability to head straight to third. No wasted motion. And he's able to get to third with no outs. La Stella just needs a ball on the ground or a fly ball to bring him in.
Houston infield pinches in at the corners. That's Dominguez at third, Singleton at first. They'll concede a run on a ball hit up the middle. And that's in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike. Castro's third error places Upton at third base. And La Stella will drive him home with a fly ball to center. Dexter Fowler drifts back a step or 2. There's the catch. There's the Upton tag. And Tommy La Stella has his 8th big league RBI, and the Braves lead 1-0. Again, little things.
And that's what we talked about. The ABC baseball or National League brand. Where you just get a guy on, you move him in, move him over, and score him. And I think the Braves have the kind of team where they will have to take off and really push that first place position. They're going to have to do the little things we keep talking about.
Yeah, we talked early in the series. about all the home runs Atlanta and Houston have hit. And they've hit their share in this series, but they manufacture one in the first. Let's see, Paul, how Freddie Freeman swings the bat today. He's got the right elbow wrapped, and he does have the protective guard on the right arm. And he spoils their shift, hits one inside the third base line to left. And a long single, as getting to it quickly was Guzman. And Freeman's aboard with the second Atlanta hit of the game.
Chip, they may have to rethink this shift because this is the second time that he's gone opposite field for a base hit. Hitting a little flare over third base yesterday and now driving one right down the line. Nice to see that elbow's working just fine.
Or if it wasn't, it feels a whole lot better with a hit in your first at bat. Here's Gaddis. 16 homers for Evan. And a big swing and a miss. Gaddis, the Braves DH again today. Gerald Laird is the catcher. This was the game plan for Atlanta in this series. And I talked to Evan after the game last night about being the DH. There are a lot of regular players in baseball who, when National League teams play in the AL parks, hate being the DH. They say it's tough for them to get into the flow of the game. That isn't the case for Gaddis, and I'll explain in a moment. As he hits one up the middle, Altuve will take it to the bag and fire to first in time. And Gaddis is doubled up. That story will wait for another time. Braves score a first inning run on 2 hits off Jarred Cozart, and Mike Minor goes to work next. In the top of the first inning and have jumped in front for Mike Minor. The Braves' young left-hander looks for his third victory this season, and he'll face this Bo Porter lineup presented by Toyota. Dexter Fowler has done great work against left-handed pitching this year. A lot of speed at the top. They move John Singleton to the number 3 hole. Springer hits fourth, and then some changes at the bottom with Jesus Guzman in left field, and Marwin Gonzalez, the shortstop, is hitting ninth.
Well, I'm excited to watch Mike Minor throw today after his big 11 strikeout performance last time out. And you can see his numbers in day games, which are fantastic. We'll hope we'll see a little more of that today.
Well, you know Mike is pitching pumped up today. Not only to face the Astros, but his Vanderbilt Commodores won the College Baseball World Series last night. Big 8th inning home run decided things. Dexter Fowler skies one out of play for an even count.
As a former pitcher at LSU, And I mean this with all respect to Vanderbilt. We would call them the smart guys. And you usually used to go, we need something even out the conference. You'd go to play Vanderbilt, and it was almost an automatic 2 or 3 wins. Can't say that anymore.
Not anymore as Fowler rolls one to short. And he will be quick work by Andrelton Simmons. There's out number 1. Always good to keep Fowler off the base paths.
And the 4 keys to the game for Mike Minor. Honest Abe needs to throw that fastball in to right-handed hitters to keep them honest, keep them from diving, and trying to hook the ball in that left field wall and pull the string. That changeup, always an important pitch for him. Today with the young hitters of Houston that like the free swing, it's even more important that he throws that for strikes.
Here's Altuve, 105 hits for Jose this year. 2 of them have come in this series. He's 2 for 9 overall. He pops one out of play foul for a swinging strike. Altuve's 7-game hit streak came to an end last night with an 0 for 4 performance. But still 15 hits for his last 33, and he starts another one today with a clean single up the middle. So 106 hits for Altuve, and he's aboard and ahead of Jonathan Singleton. Singleton finding his way in the big leagues. This is his 22nd major league game. They love his power. They love his power potential. And he broke in with a big bang, Paul. 4 homers in his first 11 major league games.
A lot of these Houston hitters with a lot of potential. And Mike Minor, for some reason, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Gets out righties better than lefties, maybe because of that changeup. So we'll have to be careful. Also has to be careful with Altuve, who doesn't just lead the league in hits, but stolen bases as well.
Altuve swiped 28 bags so far this year. And that's a big part of the Astros game plan. They're 58 for 76 in steals this year. And there's a high fly ball hit toward left. Upton over by the corner of that scoreboard. Leaping try, can't get it. It bounces back toward the infield. Altuve around third. Upton's throw toward the plate is way off target. Backed up by Minor. And Singleton doubles home Altuve to tie the game. If that ball's hit 3 feet to Upton's left, he catches it out by the Braves bullpen, but no such luck.
This ball comes in high fastball down the middle of the plate. Altuve gambles right here because Upton could have caught this baseball potentially. Altuve gambling that he wasn't going to make the catch. Flying around second and third. And with a nice sliding home, BJ really didn't have a shot.
So it's an RBI double for Singleton, his 11th run batted in, and now George Springer's the batter. That is what you get with this young Houston outfielder. He is max effort at everything he does. We were told he plays a lot like Hunter Pence.
I talked about it yesterday. Pulls his head, swings very hard. We'll see if he's able to keep his head on the ball or if he continues to pull out with the swing.
He just cracked his bat. And he's behind. No balls, 2 strikes. Oh, what a thrill for Springer and Singleton and a lot of these other Astros players. They're on the cover of Sports Illustrated this week with the general manager leadership of Jeff Lunau here in Houston. The analytical and scouting combination that's working with all those #1 picks. Springer, the young face of this franchise in so many ways, so much so that Sports Illustrated said Bo Porter's club will be the 2017 world champs. The Braves obviously have something to say about that, but what a compliment for a club that's lost 100 games or more in each of the last 3 years, Paul.
I agree with you, and he's really done a lot to let this team know how to think. He's got some locker room quotes: ignore the noise from Bill Parcells and don't listen to the praise or the criticism, because they're young. They're going to go through some rough spots, and they have to be able to handle the adversity.
Did he go around? Yes, he did. Laird picks up the ball, flips it to first, and Springer is the first minor strikeout of the game.
So he's not just teaching them how to play on the field, but how they have to think and how to go through because the tough times, because as many of them are developing at the big league level. But I've been especially impressed with the pitchers they've run out here. McHugh yesterday, a frontline starter. Cosart today with the hardest cutter in the league and great stuff. Add Appel and their new #1 pick Brady Aiken into the mix, and Sports Illustrated may be right.
They've made great strides in that regard already from last season as Matt Dominguez fouls it back. Bet you wouldn't guess that the Houston Astros starting staff has the 6th best ERA in the American League this year. That's very impressive work for a last place team in the West.
Last night's starter right there, Colin McHugh.
Dominguez jammed, and he's in a deep 2-strike hole. Times are tough for Dominguez right now. He's hitless in his last 22 at bats. Houston ties it on a Singleton double. Altuve scored after he singled up the middle with 1 out. And we've seen this pattern from Mike. If you don't get him in the first, you might not get him at all. So an early run given is given right back, and the game tied.
So he's done a nice job of establishing that fastball in. Even though that pitch misses, it has purpose. It now opens up the changeup away because he's shown you that he's going to throw strikes on the inside part of the plate. Therefore, you have to respect it. And now you can't cover away as well as you could.
That one caught the inside corner, and Dominguez is struck out looking. Minor gives up 2 hits and a run. He's also got 2 strikeouts. And Jason Hayward leads off the Atlanta second.
Presented by Jeep and AT&T, mobilizing your world.
1-1 game after 1 inning in Houston. The 4th of July weekend is right around the corner. If you haven't made your plans to join us at Turner Field for the Braves and Diamondbacks on Independence Day, get your tickets now. They're going fast. The best fireworks show in the Southeast. Braves baseball at home. Martin Prado and the D-backs coming to town. Should be a lot of fun, and we hope you'll join us. Get your tickets online at Braves.com. Jason Hayward, Justin Upton, and Chris Johnson up for the Braves in the second. Face Jared Cosart. It has been a very, very nice addition to this Houston rotation. A rotation that has been well supported in the draft, but even better supported in trade. Cosart, you'll recall, was a Philadelphia Phillies farmhand. He came over in one of their many deals with Philadelphia.
Grew up down the street at Lead City, Texas. Grew up an Astros fan, so I'm sure he's happy to get back.
You talk about a blockbuster deal. The Astros weren't going anywhere, and they moved Hunter Pence. In the deal, they got a frontline starter, their starting first baseman, a terrific relief pitcher in Josh Side, and an outfielder who's turned out to be the number 8 prospect in their organization from the Phillies. While Philadelphia went for it with Hunter Pence, they wish they had a lot of these young players still in their system. As Hayward smacks one deep toward left, but that's going to be playable and caught for out number 1. Guzman made the grab on the warning track, and Jason's retired for the first out. Well, here's the man of the series, Justin Upton. Off the plate, 1 ball, no strikes. I'll bet you those fans in the front row to Justin look like he could reach out and shake hands with. It's only 315 feet away. And that's off the plate.
As a pitcher, the tendency when you see it, you have a field like Boston or here where you have that short porch, you can get a little nervous and try to stay away from hitters. It's very important that you establish in, because if you just stay away, they will start to dive and hook the ball and just hit pop flies down the left field line.
But in this series, Paul, he hasn't been just trying to yank the ball to left. I mean, he's hit the ball with authority to right and right center.
And the temptation of the hitter is to try and pull everything. You can get in trouble. It can mess your swing up for weeks. I hear hitters talk about it. And you're right. Justin Upton has done a nice job of hitting the ball the other way and just hitting it where it's pitched.
And that ball hammered toward the gap in left center field. It'll get down for a 1-out hit for Justin Upton. So Justin extends his batting streak to 4 consecutive games, and that'll bring up Chris Johnson.
Watch this fastball land, which we were talking about. You have to throw here. Justin gets a quick path. Watch this bat path to the ball. Keeps the hands in. Very nice. Doesn't crush it. But hey, he almost hit the train last night, so we know it's in there. But he just puts the bat on the ball and makes it work.
Happy homecoming of sorts for Chris Johnson. He's got a couple of hits and an RBI. He's a former Astro, as you'll recall. And he's a little late on that 92-mile-an-hour heat.
And he was the answer to that dreaded trivia question that I keep missing on.
Yeah, we were all over it. But today, a new day. We'll try to win the series outright. No balls and a strike. And diving back to first is Justin Upton. Big sports day in the U.S., of course. World Cup soccer. The U.S. lost to Germany, but advanced to the final 16 today. They had the game on the big scoreboard beforehand. Neither Braves or Astros took batting practice today. They came after the night game. We had a good number of fans turn out for the World Cup match down in Brazil. 2 quick strikes. Upton's running. And he got a good pitch to run on. Castro's throw, those going to nail him. What a job by the Houston catcher. Upton's thrown out trying to steal second. The first time he's been gunned down this year. 2 outs.
You have to give credit to Castro right here. Upton, pretty good speed going down, but the throw is just perfect and gets him.
So Chris now hits with bases empty and 2 outs, and a 1-2 pitch is tapped over the mound. Osark's got it, and he'll fire to first in time. No runs, a hit, nobody left. Game tied, 1 apiece.
Presented by the Georgia Lottery and Toyota.
Houston, Texas, one of my favorite places to visit in the U.S. of A. And we depart Houston for Philadelphia after our game this afternoon. And hopefully we'll head out with a winning streak in trivia. Paul, our AT&T Uverse question is, who holds the Braves' franchise record for most career wins against Houston?
I'm on it. The temptation to get out my phone and dial a helpline, but I'm not going to do it.
Why not? Glavin does it all the time. Pop fly by Jason Castro, strike 1.
It's embarrassing. You're supposed to know baseball, which I feel I do to an extent, right?
Yeah.
Is that okay to promote a little bit? But I can't get these trivia questions right, so see if I can focus today and make it happen.
Minor misses high to Castro, and the count to the catcher even at a ball and a strike. 6 homers, 31 knocked in for Castro. He's been bothered by a sore knee. Took a foul ball to the knee last week. Missed a couple of games against Tampa Bay. But he's back in there against the Braves today and takes a strike. Castro, a former #1 pick back in 2008. It's a squibber back to the mound. It's off Miner's glove, but he'll make the play in plenty of time for the first out. Getting some questions from fans as we see batted balls in the infield and outfield. It looks like there's a rooster tail popping up when the ball hits the turf. I'm guessing that's grass seed or some kind of a sand compound on the infield and outfield. You'll see it here when Mike Minor makes the play.
Now Minor misses his spot right here. He wanted to throw a fastball away, but I like the fastball in. Even so, you see what you're talking about. Fly up from the grass. Nice presence to stick with it and make the play at first. But he had thrown a curveball before, and I like that fastball in after the curveball, something Alex Wood did so well yesterday.
Don't be fooled by Chris Carter's 190 batting average. When this guy hits it squarely, it goes a long way. 13 home runs this year. He's the designated hitter for Houston. And to put it in perspective, Carter this year has 43 hits. 25 of them have gone for extra bases. And that one headed back toward us, out of play.
Another one of those Astros hitters that pretty much swings as hard as they can every time. In that Adam Dunn category of all or nothing. You gotta like that. 6 balls, 19 strikes.
And Carter swings and misses. Ball in the dirt. Laird scoops it up. And that's Mike's 3rd strikeout. And the 82nd time Carter has been struck out this year. 2 outs.
But Chip, we talked about Atlanta Braves having the youngest team in both leagues now. But how about this? They also lead the league, entire Major League Baseball, in quality starts with 55, the Brewers being second. With all the injuries they've had to their pitching staff, that is flat out incredible. You got to give credit to Roger McDowell and the Braves pitchers for doing such a good job, especially the young guys.
And they're 6 for 6 in quality starts on this road trip to Washington and Houston so far. Hot shot past Chris Johnson, and Jesus Guzman has a first pitch hit. That comes with 2 outs here in the 2nd inning.
In case you're wondering what a quality start is, 6 innings pitched, 3 runs or less. It was developed by sports writer John Lowe in 1985 while writing for the Philadelphia Inquirer. But here's my question. I've never understood why 8 innings, 4 runs, you throw 2 innings more with the same ERA is not a quality start. Can you answer that for me?
I don't have an answer for it. I'm not a fan of the quality start. That's a 4.50 ERA. If you do the math, even in today's offensive-friendly hitting conditions in Major League Baseball, a 4.50 ERA is kind of blah for me. What about you? You pitched.
I would agree. I would agree. I think you've done a nice job of getting your team to the 7th. But you're right. The ERA is not good. Maybe 7 innings, 3 runs, or 6 innings, 2 runs, maybe better. With all the changes to baseball, who knows? You want to start a petition?
There are enough numbers in the game for me, pal. You can make them say whatever you want. As Marwin Gonzalez hits with a runner at first and 2 outs. Like any stat, some folks feel that wins for starting pitchers is not an accurate indicator of how well he has pitched. I think that's probably true. Just as ERA is not the most accurate way of determining how a guy pitches. But any stat you use, you have to use it in context. If you do that, personally, I think any of them, individually or collectively, are good roadmaps and barometers to tell the story of the player's performance.
I agree with you. So you take a 4 ERA in Colorado,
right,
or in Cincinnati, but maybe it's not a great ERA if you pitch in a place like San Francisco that has a big field.
Right, that's the context. Two balls and a strike for Marwin Gonzalez. Houston's got 3 hits in the game. So do the Braves. Houston's committed the game's only error. And a fly ball hit toward left center field. Justin got a terrific jump, and he'll sprint over and make the play, and that retires the side. On we go to the 3rd. Simmons, Laird, and B.J. Upton coming up in a tie game at 1. day here in Houston, Texas. Paul Bird, Chip Terry, Tom Hart with you from Minute Maid Park. This used to be such a great rivalry in National League play. The Braves and Astros met so many times in the postseason. They met, of course, a lot in regular season play, too. And quite frankly, with Houston in the American League, as well as the Braves have played them, we're sorry to see them go to the junior circuit, Paul.
Yeah, I would agree. The Braves loving to play the Houston Astros. So many times it seems that these two teams locked up in the playoffs, and until the end, and the Braves really had their number. The Braves with the great pitching of Maddox, Clavin, and Smoltz, and Houston with the killer bees, and pitching always seemed to beat out the good hitters.
You make a good point about the killer bees, man. They had such a good club here. They had Eddie Pettit, they had Roger Clemens, they had Roy Oswalt, Shane Reynolds. I mean, Lidge, Dotel, and Wagner. Remember, that was their bullpen trio at the end. I mean, as good as it got in that era of Major League Baseball.
And their two core guys right there, Bagwell and Biggio. Hated facing those guys. Me being a right-handed pitcher, they're still right-handed. It didn't matter. And they always got questioned, how come you can't beat the Braves in the playoffs? And Bagwell would always say, well, do you want to bat off Maddox, Clavin, and Smoltz? And the writers would stop asking those questions after that.
2 balls, no strikes, and that's in for strike 1 for Everton. Well, they did win that 18-inning game against the Braves, and that got the monkey off the proverbial back for the Stros. They did play in the World Series. The White Sox beat them. And Braves have a member of their coaching staff who is a participant in that World Series. Braves hitting coach Greg Walker had those duties on Chicago's South Side.
And I was playing for the Anaheim Angels at the time. As you can see, Coach Greg Walker right there. The White Sox beating us to go to the World Series. He always makes it a point to flash that ring at me when I walk in the clubhouse to get the blood going.
You know what, though? I love the fact that Greg wears his ring. Gerald Baird wears his Cardinals championship ring. Especially with the point you've made a couple of times in this series about the youth of this Braves ball club. This team has accomplished a lot the last couple of years. They have grown up together. We hope they're going to stay together for a long period of time. But the ultimate goal is a championship. And I would think from a player's perspective, having those subtle reminders around of exactly what you're playing for can't do anything but help.
Yeah, when you see some World Series rings around in that clubhouse and all the diamonds sparkling around, gives you a little something to shoot for.
Simmons a good lead at first with Gerald Laird up there, and he bounces one to second. Altuve will flip to short for one, and Gonzalez with a perfect turn to first. Braves have hit the 2 double plays in the first 3 innings of this game, and that's playing right to the hands of Jared Cozart. We talked about his big arm, but he gets the ball on the ground a lot, and that's worked to perfection so far today.
He really does, and that cut fastball is outstanding. It's got late movement, and most of the time when you cut the ball, it's a 3 or 4 mile an hour difference off your fastball. His cutter is just as hard as his fastball. He's able to throw it, as we talked about, over 94 miles an hour in that Mariano Rivera category.
Cozart 3-1 in June, facing the Braves for the first time. He's riding a personal 3-game winning streak. And he got the inside corner. And BJ now quickly behind 0-2.
That cut fastball, we talked about the late movement. It's not always the grip. Sometimes it's how long your middle finger is. So if you have a longer middle finger and you let go of your fastball, that middle finger will stay on the ball just at the last second and cut it. So they asked Mariano Rivera, how do you hold that? And he holds it just like a 4-seam fastball. That's it. But his hands were just, I guess, created a certain way that enabled the ball to cut coming off those fingers.
And the rumor was he was playing catch with Mike Borzello, who I think was the bullpen catcher at the time with the Yankees. And they were just playing catch in the outfield one day, and all of a sudden Mariano saw that ball take a hard left turn. He said, whoa, what was that? And he kept throwing it, and that's where his cut fastball and eventual Hall of Fame career began. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And as Upton looks outside, it's even now, 2-2.
You're right, Chip. He turned that fastball around where the horseshoe end of the baseball was open to his left, which means that the higher part of the seam was to his right. And it was just playing catch, and the next thing you know, one of the best closers of all time.
Good battle here by BJ. The Braves back in inning number 3. Now it's full. A lot of school kids, or campers, I guess, be a more appropriate way of describing it. All dressed in their camping colors in the upper decks. Cheering along Cosart here as he's got a tie game. Now payoff pitch. Here's a breaking ball skied high in the air toward left center field. And this one will be handled by Dexter Fowler, and the side is retired. A leadoff walk, a double play, and a flyout sends this game to Houston's 3rd. On here in Houston this afternoon, and spend your summer with us with the Atlanta Braves. We have great family events all summer long. Our Georgia Lottery Friday night fireworks. Kids can run the bases on Sundays. Post-game concerts, bobblehead giveaways, and a whole lot more. Check out all the great Braves promos and ticket specials online at braves.com/summer today. Dexter Fowler leads off the Houston 3rd. Grounded out to short to start the game for the Astros offense.
I really like how Minor started out with a changeup and curveball, off speed, pitching a little backwards. Let's see if he goes in.
Popped up. Shallow center. La Stella out, Upton in. He says he's got it, and he does. And there's the first out of the inning. Let's do a little history lesson. Talked the other night about Jose Altuve, all 5'5" of him. And I mentioned the name Eddie Gaedel. There is one of the most iconic photos in baseball history. Eddie Gaedel had one major league at bat, August 19th, 1951. 3 feet 7 inches tall, all of 65 pounds, the shortest player ever to play in a major league game. Bill Veeck was one of the owners of the old St. Louis Browns, and in a publicity stunt brought Eddie Goodell to the plate. He drew a 4-pitch walk. Pitcher for the Tigers that day was laughing so hard he just lobbed in the last 2 pitches. And as Goodell made his way to first base, he bowed and tipped his cap and was summarily pinch run for. But the coolest part of the story is, folks ask, well, where in the world did you get a uniform that would fit Eddie Goodell? The answer is very simple. The Browns got a uniform from their bat boy with the number 1/8 on the back. The coolest part of the story was that bat boy was a young man named Billy DeWitt, who's now the owner of the St. Louis Cardinals. And now you know, as Paul Harvey said, the rest of the story.
I appreciate you giving us the short version right there. What do you think? What do you think? Was that in the John Smoltz category? Borderline too cheesy?
I'm looking back, thumbs up, thumbs down from Siskel and Ebert here in the back of the group. You're getting thumbs up from the crew. As Altuve to straightaway center again. Upton to his left is going to make the play, and there's out number 1. But I think it's so important to note that that's the great thing about baseball. If you have talent, no matter your height, weight, strength, there's a place for you in this game if you can play. And Altuve certainly personifies that. He's got more hits than anybody else in the American League.
Yes, and he's a high ball hitter for sure. It's hard to keep the ball down, and you know, with his, as you said, 5'5" frame. So it was nice to see Minor right there locate the ball. It was middle 2-2, but it was down, and Altuve popping it up. It's a way to go, Mike Minor, on the scouting report.
Singleton's got his average over 200. He hopes to keep it trending in the right direction today. Tough assignments for the Astros next. They've got the Tigers coming to town. They start a series here tomorrow. Go get them. Verlander, Scherzer, and Drew Smyly, the trio for the Tigers. And there's a liner toward right. That one is going to hit high off the wall in right field, and Hayward played it beautifully. A long single for Singleton.
So Mike Minor unable to get that fastball into lefties today, which makes them a little more comfortable on that fastball away. That's a curveball away that Singleton just stayed in on very nicely and drove the ball. And we got to be happy that he's on first base and it wasn't a double.
More out of the park. He didn't miss getting it over the yellow line by more than a foot or two. So here's Springer. He struck out swinging his first time up. And grounds to short on the first pitch. And flip to second will send this game to the Atlanta fourth. Estella, Freeman, and Gaddis are coming up for Atlanta. Good ball game. We're tied at 1.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Georgia Power, The Home Depot, and Zaxby's Indescribably Good.
Game tied at 1 as we move along to inning number 4. It's time for you now to tweet your photo using hashtag SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by our friends at AT&T. A run on 3 hits for the Braves, a run on 4 hits for Houston. They have left 3. The Braves have left none so far in the series wrap up. Estella brought home B.J. Upton with a first inning sacrifice fly. He's got 8 RBIs on the year. Estella pokes one toward Dominguez at third, and he'll make the play for the first out. Six outs on the ground by Cozart, aided by a couple of double play balls. Hasn't struck anybody out yet. And here's Freeman. Freddie's got one of the 3 Atlanta hits. Pretty remarkable company Freeman finds himself in. Again, making the start today after he had to leave the ball game last night after being hit by a pitch. Talking to him in the locker room afterward, he said it caught him in a real nasty spot. Right above the funny bone and right where the triceps muscle attaches.
But he's a gamer back in there today, just wrapped it up. And the Astros are playing the nickel defense on Freeman. As you can see the shift on, even though he's got 2 hits the other way, they still think he is going to pull the baseball.
And he did. And it's out toward the shortstop, who fires to first in time. Marwin Gonzalez is that man. And now the ground ball's piling up for Cozart. Here's Gaddis. He hit to the first Braves double play. It ended the first inning. Gaddis, our Georgia lottery, hitting the jackpot. As I mentioned, he is a rare breed of National League hitters who doesn't mind being the designated hitter.
And what this tells you, Chip, is he can come off the bench, he can DH, he can hit pitchers that he's never seen before. He can just flat out get out of bed in your hotel, walk over to the park, and hit.
And I asked him about that after the game last night. He said, even when I was playing in winter ball, when the El Oso Blanco nickname came about, he only played defensively twice a week. He played left field once a week. He caught once a week, but he was the DH 5 days a week. As this one smoked out toward Fowler in center, and he'll make the play to retire the side. So Gaddis not at all uncomfortable with not playing defensively. He's swinging a hot bat, but he's out number 3 in the top of the 4th inning.
Tied as Atlanta tries to finish off this 3-game series with the sweep. And congratulations to Tim Corbin and the Vanderbilt Commodores. Mike Minor's college head coach in his school. They finished off a 3-game series in Omaha, Nebraska by winning the College World Series. It's the first men's national championship of any kind for the Commodores. Once again, they've done it with great pitching. And the history behind the Vanderbilt program is something that Tim Corbin in reality built from scratch. So to see him and his team celebrate with the victory is something sweet, especially for Mike Minor. The names that have come through there have been guys that have moved on to great success at the pro game, especially at the major league level. As the inning starts, I've got to duck behind the columns here. But Mike was part of one of the best Vanderbilt teams ever. Prior to this one in 2007, the #1 national seed, they got upset despite having Pedro Alvarez at third, Mike Minor on the mound, and a guy by the name of David Price, who started all season and closed out the final game of their year with a loss. He actually blew the save. So Mike celebrating today with a lot of his Vandy friends. He's told me last year, guys, that Tim Corbin as a head coach was a guy who taught him more about life in general than just baseball. He said you can learn how to brush your teeth from Tim Corbin.
How about that?
Were you talking to me or Paul when you said that, Tom?
Well, it goes back to yesterday with Paul.
Yeah, very good point. By the way, can we get another shot of Tom?
If you ever wanted to know what a Major League sideline reporter looked like he was in jail, there you go.
Thanks for the bail money last night, Chip, by the way. You're a great partner.
Won't be the last time, I'm sure.
I was telling the guys who work here, Blake and Jim, remember a few years ago, went to Boston, had a chance to go inside the Green Monster.
Right,
this is the modern version. It is clean. It is cool. There are no rats that we know of or that I've been told about just yet. They got a double-decker up here that can work all the scores, and kind of a quiet day for these guys in here. Only game going on right now in the big leagues.
Now, at Fenway Park, I mean, we've shown this before, where all the famous baseball people go back behind the Green Monster and sign their names on the wall. Is there anything like that here in Houston?
No, the only signs, the signatures on the wall are from workers who've actually held these jobs. These guys weren't the original ones when the ballpark was built. They came around just a year or two later. But the employees have, with Sharpie, put their names in the years they've worked here on the back wall of the manual scoreboard.
Now, when you finish up your video bit here and you put the green panel back on, would that technically make you a worker for the day?
I think so. I'm going to send them an invoice and put in for my hourly charge.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. You might want to sign the wall, see if they let you sign.
I might have to go down to the lower level where they can't see me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed. Blake, would that make me a worker if I put the panel back up and allow me to sign the wall? All right, Blake's cool with it. I'm in.
Sweet.
Part of the club.
Love it. Sign away, Tom. Good report.
There's also bullpen access back here, which is one of the unique spots about this ballpark.
Castro ropes one toward right center field. That's going to get to the warning track. Upton cuts it off. Dominguez will be stopped at third as Jason Castro has doubled here in the 4th inning. So a hit batsman and a double puts Houston runners at second and third against Minor here in the home 4th.
Mike Minor again having trouble getting out lefties. That breaking ball just hanging up a little bit. And as you can hear, that ball was crushed. But Minor 14 out of 15 first pitch strikes. Dexter Fowler, the first hitter of the game, is the only pitch he let off a ball to. So he is throwing a lot of strikes, and it looks like the Astros are starting to swing early.
Well, here's a spot where he could use a strikeout. And here's a spot on the lineup card where you think he's got a good chance to get one. Carter has struck out already today, and that's 82 times for the season. He bounces one toward third. Chris Johnson looks the runner back, throws to first. Good play, one down.
Chris Johnson, a nice job right here of looking that runner back, and not just a courtesy look. He actually takes his time and makes sure the runner's not headed home.
So there's the first big bullet dodged by Minor, but now Guzman's the batter. He has a hit in his first try today. big, long swing has him behind in the count.
As you can see, Mike Minor, first pitch strike, 16 out of 17 now. Right there with the breaking ball, first pitch curveball. They got Guzman to chase.
Low and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Guzman's been around a while. He just turned 30 out of Caracas, Venezuela. The Mariners originally signed him as a 16-year-old free agent in 2000. He takes off plate. Now 3 balls and a strike. He first got to the big leagues with the Giants in 2009. Spent the last 2 seasons in San Diego, where he combined to hit 18 homers and 83 RBIs in 246 games. Ground ball up the middle is going to get a run home. The flip to first in time. Here's the second out. Guzman brings home Dominguez. The hit batsman hurts, and the Astros grab their first lead of the day. It's 2-1. So it's Houston's turn to do some of the little things well.
That was a nice job by Guzman. Minor did not give in that at bat. He did not throw him 1 fastball, curveballs and changeups, and 3-1 where you'd expect to get a fastball. He throws a changeup on the outside corner, gets the little off the end of the background ball. Unfortunately, it does the job.
So Marwin Gonzalez with a runner at third bats. He flied out his first time up. Houston 2, Braves 1. We're in the home 4th. That's over the screen, out of play and into the seats. It's 1-1. Now Mike a strike away from ending a long 4th.
Got fastball away, foul off right there. He has him set up for a fastball in. Or the off speed away. See what he does. Looks like he's going to go off speed.
Laird, a nice stop. Marwin Gonzalez, a switch hitter out of Bolivar, Venezuela. Was taken in the Rule 5 draft by the Red Sox, then was traded to the Astros. They've had good luck in the Rule 5 draft in recent years as well. Josh Fields, former Georgia Bulldog. Relief pitcher with Houston, a Rule 5 guy. Wesley Wright, you've seen him pitch in the big leagues. And now Marwin Gonzalez with this 25-man roster in 2014 again. A hit batsman started the inning. Castro doubled to right center. Carter bounced to third. Guzman grounded to second to score Dominguez for the Houston lead. Now a bounding ball up the middle. Estella charges, throws on the run, and got his man by a step. All in all, that could have been a whole lot worse. Good job by Mike to limit the damage to 1 run. A hit batsman comes around to score in the Houston fourth. Jason Hayward and the Braves get ready for the 5th inning. Justin Upton and Chris Johnson as well in what's now a 1-run Houston game. Baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Time for the Braves bats to start gushing in Houston. They're down a run, 2-1 your score. Atlanta with 3 hits against Jared Cosart, who's had an amazing run when he's faced a team for the first time. When opponents get their first look at Cosart on the Astros mound, as a broken bat sends that ball out to short, and Gonzalez to play for the first out. He's given up a 2.18 ERA, Paul, and has allowed 2 runs or less in 12 of the 15 games he's pitched. And he's up to his old tricks so far today. There's out number 1. That cutter, the ability to sink the ball, get it on the ground, all of that was in play in Hayward's at bat.
He's done a nice job. And most guys that feature the cutter, they're fly ball pitchers. But most guys can't throw a cut fastball in the mid-90s, and a lot of the Braves are just putting it on the ground.
That one hit high in the air toward left. Long run, that's on the warning track. Out of reach of Guzman, and Justin Upton doubles with 1 out.
He heard me up here in the box talking about ground balls, and he said that's not the truth, and gets on that slider, barrels it, and he's hot right now, hitting the ball where it's pitched. Fastball down, he goes down and gets it. Front foot down, and he changed his swing to that 3/4 swing a couple months ago, which you'd never teach. You always want to teach a strong follow through, but he is so impressive, so strong with that bat. He can stop it at a 3/4 pace and make it happen.
He's getting hot, Braves fans. Upton's 2 for 2 today. Chance for Chris Johnson to tie it up. He bounced out to the mound in the second. And had a big long swing and didn't get it. Strike 1. Big game for the Braves today. They'll try to put a little more pressure on the Nationals. They play the Cubs later on at Wrigley Field. Braves start the day a game out of first place. Good stop by Castro. Steven Strasburg had a poor outing yesterday. But Washington looks for another command performance from Doug Fister. Boy, was he good against the Braves on Saturday in Washington. Travis Wood will pitch for Chicago. The Cubs have lost 4 of their last 5 games. One ball, 2 strikes.
We saw a balk get called yesterday on a pitcher that had some movement before he came set. If you see a lot of movement here with Cozart, the reason he's getting away with it, even that arm dangle right there where you see a little movement, the reason he's getting away with it is because he does it every time. So he has little pauses in between his delivery before he comes set, as you see right there. But he's consistent with it, so they'll allow it.
Yeah, you see his leg come to a stop not once but twice.
Which is normally a balk. But if you do it over and over and over again, now if he doesn't do that and he comes set in a normal quick fashion, the next time he would go back to a stop and a start would be called a balk, or should be called a balk.
Upton leads at second. Altuve tries to check him at the bag, and now the 1-2 pitch is back to the mound. Upton's going to be in a rundown. Low throw speared by Dominguez. And Upton tries to stay in the rundown long enough to get Chris Johnson to second, but he couldn't. So Upton, who is in scoring position, is erased on a ground ball to third. Johnson's at first with 2 out.
There's a little bit of frustration right here from Justin Upton because he tries to stay in this rundown to get Chris Johnson to second base. And he's looking for Chris. Chris not going. And you'll see right here at the end after he gets tagged, he's waiting for Chris to get over there, and it just didn't happen. Great catch by the third baseman.
So that scored 1-5-6 to retire Upton. Johnson's at first for Simmons, who walked his first and only time up. So that's one of those little things that may come back to bite the Braves here in the 5th. A 1-out double. Johnson bounces to third, unable to advance on the rundown play. And too high for Simmons. 1 ball, no strikes. That foul ball headed right for Nolan Ryan. He's sitting in his front row seat right behind the Astros on deck circle. And it's a very special day for Nolan Ryan. He and his wife Ruth are celebrating their 47th anniversary today.
Congratulations to Nolan. That's quite an accomplishment in this game, just in life in general.
A ball, 1 strike. I got to see Nolan Ryan throw his last major league pitch. He was pitching with the Rangers. Pitching at the Kingdome in Seattle. And the last man he faced in the big leagues was a man by the name of Dan Howitt. And for a man whose great career was known for all the no-hitters, all those strikeouts, all those upper 90s fastballs, the last hitter he faced hit a grand slam against him in Seattle. 2 balls and a strike. Simmons splits the gap in right center field. That's going to get down in front of Fowler. Johnson will go first to third. And the inability to advance on the rundown does, for the moment, cost the Braves a run. However, they've got a first and third threat with 2 outs.
Simmons staying on that cut fastball away, keeping his head on the baseball, driving into right center. And we talked about it, Chip. When you see that, you get excited because Simmons can get home run happy at times and pull conscious, try to swing as hard as he can. It's nice to see him get a hit the other way, especially off a tough cut fastball that Cozart features today.
Well, how about a cutter in the dirt? That could bring home the tying run. There it was. But Castro smothered it. 1 ball, no strikes. Ball got away from the pitcher, but time had been called apparently. So no chance for Chris to try to score on that play. 2-1 Houston. Braves threatening here in the 5th. A couple of hits. Fly ball pretty well hit toward right. Singleton back. Springer is back. Singleton went back too, but he's at first base. Springer's there though. And he made the play to retire the side. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Houston's lead still 2-1.
The Braves look for the series sweep. Time now for a SunTrust shining moment. Accolades coming down for some Braves minor leaguers. Christian Bethancourt has been named his 3rd All-Star Futures game to be played in conjunction with the Major League All-Star game. And Jose Peraza, 20 years old, selected to his first for the World Team. He's now at AA Mississippi, where he is the 2nd youngest player at AA baseball. He's ranked as the number 3 prospect in the Braves organization. Freddie Gonzalez saw him a little bit during spring training. There's a lot of people that love what this kid represents in the maybe very near future. He can hit, he can field, and he can run. And perhaps in a game with so few prototypical leadoff hitters, he may be the next couple years down the road.
That's a good point, Tom. As we've talked in this series, the Braves don't have a true prototypical leadoff hitter on their 25-man roster now. And I asked Freddie specifically, who does Peraza remind you most of? And he thought for a moment, and this I think should really excite Braves country. He said, imagine a better offensive Martin Prado. Peraza, converted shortstop, moving to second base. Think about what his arm, Simmons' arm, and Freeman's arm would be like going in that infield. That's pretty impressive, too.
And you know the front office wants to keep tabs on all these guys, especially guys like Peraza. I understand Frank Wren has been in Birmingham over the last few days watching the Mississippi club in their series.
Well, stranger things have happened. Who knows? If he keeps playing great ball, Tom, maybe he could make the jump all the way from A-ball this year. It's happened before. So Peraza and Bethancourt, too, to definitely keep an eye on for Atlanta. And there are many others, too. That's, as we know, the great hallmark of the Braves organization. Thanks, Tom. Great report. And it's a pattern that the Astros, Paul, are trying to follow, too.
Developing young men in the big leagues, not always ideal, but sometimes you don't have a choice. And I'm thinking of Rafael Furcal, who skipped a few levels, came up, and did just fine. So it's not always the age or getting development in AAA. Sometimes if you're ready, you're ready.
Line drive by Fowler to right, and Hayward made a tough play. I don't think the lights got him. I think the high-def LED scoreboard that's between the second and third deck might have got him. He really had to battle as that ball was in the lights in straightaway right field.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But how about the athleticism right there? Doesn't see it, doesn't see it. And then at the last second makes the catch and is super relieved. Nice job.
So is Mike Minor. If he doesn't catch that, Fowler's maybe at third base. So Altuve to work. He has singled and he has scored. I wonder if we'll see Altuve representing the American League in the All-Star game this year. Hard not to vote him in. He has more hits than anybody else in the league. And another line drive up the middle. This one on an 0-2 pitch. The bad break for Altuve is the league in which he plays. How in the world is he going to beat out Dustin Pedroia? How is he going to beat out Robinson Cano among American League second basemen?
You know what, when you lead the league in hitting with those guys in there, it's really saying something. I do not like this pitch selection. He tried to get the ball up. We've talked about Altuve being a high ball hitter. Struggles with the ball away, but just that high fastball, you're not going to throw it by him. And if you do go up, it's got to be higher than high, meaning above his shoulders, and Minor just unable to get it there.
Tom Glavins's talked about that a lot, and I know I would assume you would agree. It is such an unnatural thing for a pitcher to do, to pitch high in the strike zone, even with a strike zone as small as Altuve's. And the Braves have been hurt a lot on that two-strike higher than high pitch, where it's either been fought off or it's been put in play for a hit. And we've got a very fast runner at first base in Altuve, who doesn't care. He'll run against lefties or righties. Good lead at first. And that chased Singleton inside.
That is what Minor has to do against lefties. He has to establish that he can throw his fastball in for strikes, unable to do so right there. But the lefties have hit him so well because he hasn't shown that. So they let everything go, like you just saw right there. They sit away with either fastball and curveball, and if he elevates at all, they get it.
High fly ball, straightaway center. BJ in and under. You don't figure he'll have trouble with a dome. All those years playing at Tropicana Field in Tampa. And he takes care of Singleton for the second out. Springer's 2 for 11 in the series.
You can see Laird and Minor out there discussing a few things, making sure they're on the same page. So I got to go over my lefty trivia again because I didn't do it last game. Got yelled at a little bit. So here we go. Are you ready, Chip?
Go. Bring it on.
Lefties are less able to roll their tongue than a righty. But here's the good news. Lefty college graduates go on to become 26% richer than righties.
Well, yeah, you got a major league pitcher out there. That's obvious.
Well, Mike Minor
left-handed pitch forever. Right?
There you go. 75 total pitches. Lefties are typically, according to the stats, smarter than righties. Mike Minor, Vanderbilt, certainly helping that cause out.
Yeah, you got to think that Mike Minor and David Price have skewed that statistic. 2 major league left-handed starting pitchers. And that's taken high to Springer. 1 ball, 1 strike. Speaking of David Price, he's pitching his best baseball in a long time for Tampa Bay, and that's saying something. There are a couple of clubs in the National League that may be hot after his services. The Giants, believe it or not, who have had their big lead in the West trimmed to just a handful of games. Their starting pitching has been struggling. Tim Lincecum notwithstanding yesterday. As Altuve is running, and no chance at all for Laird. Told you he is fearless. He'll run versus lefties, righties, doesn't matter, and he's in scoring position with 2 out.
This guy gets incredible jumps. Watch this. First movement on a lefty, and he's gone guessing right. And with great speed, he gets down there, and Laird had no chance.
That's 29 steals.
And here's a situation where the hitter needs to just drive in this run. But Springer has been showing you he only knows one way to swing the bat, and that is as hard as he can. We'll see if Minor goes to a changeup or breaking ball, uses that aggressiveness against him.
Bouncer over third, foul. Springer now a 2-2 count.
And he didn't. That fastball surprised me a little bit.
In case you wonder what the stolen base record for the Astros is in a single season, it's 65. Altuve is almost halfway there. We're not yet halfway through the season. Gerald Young turned the trick in 1988. Big chance for Springer here, but with 2 outs. And he laid off. You have a base open, and you do have a struggling hitter on deck in Matt Dominguez. Minor hit him with a 2-strike pitch. And that ended up being the go-ahead run for Houston. Altuve's trying for third, and he's going to make it without a throw as Springer walks.
Again, another great jump. Chris Johnson doesn't even come over, has the base stolen. The situation didn't really call for a stolen base because there was 2 outs. But Altuve, with that great speed, just said, if you're not going to pay a lot of attention to me, I'm going to take it.
So the importance of the steal is a ball that gets away from Laird could score Altuve here. Dominguez thinking about more damage than that. He didn't get the first. A swinging strike. A single, a walk, 2 stolen bases. As Houston in business in the 5th. Good fastball. Dominguez tied up 0-2.
He's done a nice job of throwing that fastball up and in, and then starting that curveball that's in the same location in. You usually throw a curveball away, lefty on righty, but he's followed it up with that curveball in. We'll see if he goes to it here.
Runner at first goes. The pitch hammered deep left field. That's big trouble. That ball is high and gone. It's a home run for Dominguez on an 0-2 pitch.
Have to be careful how many times you go to the well. Fastball up and in, fastball up and in. Tries to go there again. Dominguez ready for it. And as you said, Chip, that ball's hit pretty well.
Above the yellow line, off one of the support columns for the railroad tracks above, and a 3-run bomb ends Dominguez's 0-for-23 hitless streak. And it gives Houston a big lead now of 5-1 in the 5th. Mike Minor's allowed 11 homers this year, every single one of them to a right-handed hitter. And that one really hurt. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Foul by Castro. It's 1-2. Braves have a lot of work to do now with 12 outs left. There to complete this sweep against Houston. Walk to Springer, brought Dominguez to the plate. But the 0-2 mistake was hit nearly 400 feet. And a flinch at the plate, and no appeal. Full count to Castro. Second walk of the inning. And the Braves bullpen will begin to work.
Minor had been throwing fastball, curveball primarily to left-handers. There he switched it up and threw a few sliders. I think that home run took him out of his game plan a little bit.
Swing and a foul tip to plate by Chris Carter. Well, let's face it, it's been a long time since Mike has won a game. His last win was May 19th. Going back to our earlier conversation about wins being deceptive, no decisions can be deceptive too. That's what Mike took in his last outing. After 11 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 7 innings against the Nationals, the Braves bullpen couldn't hold the lead. It's the 13-inning game that the Braves won in Washington. And that one's scorched toward the seats foul. It's 0-2.
It's a shame that Mike doesn't have quite the ERA and the numbers that he usually has. But since the 2012 All-Star break, he is 6th in the National League with a 3.12 ERA, going 21-17 in 56 starts during that span. Having a tough one today.
A swing and a miss takes care of Chris Carter. That time he got the 0-2 pitch where he wanted it, but not before Houston scored 3 on a Matt Dominguez 3-run homer. Top of the order is our Delta Airlines on deck. Time for the Pats to go to work in H-Town.
Of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
MLB.TV Premium's the #1 live streaming sports service, and it's celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Braves.com for details. Top of the order for Atlanta, Upton, La Stella, and Freddie Freeman. And DJ tries to bunt. Good try, but a good play by Cozart to nab him at first. And Upton is out #1 in the 6th. We're off to Philadelphia after the game today. We start a 4-game series with the Phillies tomorrow night. A little bit of wonderment about how the Braves would stack up their rotation for that series with the Phillies. That was announced last night. Good matchup tomorrow night. Julio Teheran and Kyle Kendrick in game 1. First pitch at 7:05 with Braves live at 6:30. Then a day-night doubleheader. We will have game 1 for you. Irvin Santana for the Braves. The Phillies have not announced their pitchers for the double dip. Big Fox will have game 2 of the double dip, and David Hale will get the starting assignment for the Braves. And we're back at it on Fox Sports South Sunday for Aaron Harang and David Buchanan, the Georgia State product. And they'll be pumped up for that matchup. First pitch 1:35, and that will bring the road trip to an end. 3 cities, 10 days, 11 games. The doubleheader Saturday is a makeup Braves were rained out April 15th in Philly. And Listello strikes out. That is the first Cozart strikeout of the day. And 2 quick outs in the Atlanta 6th.
This is a fastball away. Little cutter. PNC Bank box tracks. Just off the outside corner. Called for strike 3.
Low to Freddie Freeman, who's 1 for 2.
You can see that defense. We got a rover there in right center field. Looks like a little extra player in softball where they scoot over. Bo Porter using a lot of shifts right now on the Braves players.
And Freddie's starting run is our Academy Sports and Outdoor Leaderboard. Talk to you about the rarefied air he's in. Those are the 3 National Leaguers who started every game for their clubs. Were you a fan of shifts when you pitched?
I was. You had to know the player, like they're playing Freddie straight up in the outfield, knowing that he does hit the ball in the air to all fields, but on the ground he usually pulls it. Now he proved you wrong earlier today with the ground ball down the line, but you've got to play the percentages. So I think that is an appropriate defense for Freddie.
Last time up, he hit one right to Marwin Gonzalez, and he barely had to move in the shift. Whether a team shifts or not, it still counts on one very important factor, does it not? And that's the pitcher hitting a spot.
That's it. Got to pitch to the shift.
Now a 2-2 pitch. It went away and Freeman took it. Gaddis is next. Bouncing ball, he hit it right to the shift. And the throw to first is in plenty of time. A lot of ground balls from Cozart. Couple of double plays early have helped him as well. And the Astros offense is alive. They've scored 5 times in the finale of the series. They're down 5-1 as we head to the bottom of our 6th inning. It's time for our Zaxby's indescribably good play. Check him out.
How about that reaching over the seat, Chip, bringing it back amidst a bunch of high fives that were very appropriate and a lot of cheers. I agree, play of the day.
So Minor back out there in the Houston 6th after a long 5th inning. He's got the 8, 9, and 1 hitters up for the Astros. Guzman, Gonzalez, Dexter Fowler is approaching 100 pitches.
There's those high fives we're talking about, and a big smile. He'll remember that as long as he lives.
He's already bigger than Altuve.
You're tough.
No, it's true.
That's what I like about baseball, as you said. You can be shorter. I was a shorter pitcher, balding with a big forehead, but I still made it all work. What Minor has done well today is he's thrown fastballs up in this area, and then a curveball will start out on the same plane and then drop. He's gotten some swings on that today. The home run that hurt him, he tried to go to the well a few too many times up and in. He was set up for the curveball, missed over the middle, and the Astros made him pay.
He went around, and Guzman struck out. Guzman is Minor's 5th strikeout victim of the day. And there's a very good start. Marwin Gonzalez 0 for 2. And Juan Jaime begins to loosen in the Braves bullpen. From the very get-go today, Mike just wasn't as crisp and sharp as he was against Washington for whatever reason. Hasn't walked many people, but he's made some mistakes with 2 strikes that have been costly. Gonzalez swings the first pitch, and he flies out to deep right, and quickly 2 are out. And here's Fowler. Dexter's 0 for 3. Hope Dexter Fowler has a long, productive, successful career in Houston. He's a great guy. Out of Milton High School and in Metro Atlanta. Played so many years for Colorado Rockies. And the old adage in baseball is true, and I believe it to be. Strong up the middle. These guys are in pretty good shape with Castro, Fowler, Altuve, and Carlos Correa, their young shortstop, who they were really hoping to see something from this September. They have to wait a little while for their former #1 overall pick. Correa broke his leg sliding last week, and he's had surgery to repair that fracture. They don't think it's going to be debilitating for him long term, but Correa's season is over, and he's just about ready to be promoted to Double-A. One ball, 2 strikes. And ground ball, fair ball. Freeman, 360 spin. Minor to the bag, just in time to get Fowler. What a play by Freddie Freeman to nab Fowler at first. Bo Porter is going to come out and talk with James Hoy about that.
It looked like from up here he may have beaten him, but that's a bang-bang play. We'll have to see it on the replay to know for sure. And as you can see, Porter's out there talking to the umpire, glancing to the dugout to see what he can get. Fowler getting down the line. And if the old adage is true, tie goes to the runner, we're in trouble.
Well, the new adage in baseball is inconclusive evidence to overturn the call. Minor makes a 5-play with Freeman, and we're headed to inning number 7. 4, 5, and 6 up for the Braves, and they'll take aim at a new Houston left fielder. Alex Presley has taken over. We'll let you know if anything was wrong with Guzman, should that information be made available to us. Gaddis gets a strike. Told you how good Cozart has been in his first looks against opponents. He's lived up to that advanced billing today. He's allowed only a run on 5 hits. That Atlanta run, bit of a gift. A single, a stolen base, a throwing error, and a sacrifice fly is all Atlanta's gotten today. If Cozart wins today, that'll give Houston a pair of 8-game winners. The last time the Astros had 2 starting pitchers with 8 wins before the All-Star break was way back in 2004. And those 2 pitchers were Roy Oswalt and Roger Clemens. And look at Gaddis get his hands inside the ball. He shoots one at Presley in left. And Gaddis on his way to second, and he'll slide in safely with a leadoff double. You can't pitch him inside. You just can't.
I don't know why they keep doing it. He's got that great cut fastball. Here he tries to go on the inside part of the plate. Gaddis keeps the hands in that are so fast, and he just does not miss that spot, especially with a fastball.
So the ball finds Presley in left. He just checked in, and now the Braves try to mount a rally here. Nobody up in the Houston pen. As Jason Hayward digs in. Jason's 0 for 2. That's upstairs. Still have to play fundamental baseball even though we're in the 7th inning here. Run here, run there. Getting that Houston bullpen, you never know. Cozart looks to have a lot of fuel left in the tank. He's only thrown 80 pitches in 6+ innings.
Talking to hitting coach Greg Walker last night when he walked in, the home run by Justin Upton was incredible. But the first thing he mentioned was how Jason Hayward moved some runners over. You can do that here, but you're down by 4 late. You don't want to get yourself move the runner over at all expenses. You'd love to get a base hit, try to hit the ball to all fields, not give up that out, and see if you can keep things going.
Hayward stays alive. The count still 1 ball, 2 strikes. I think that's something Greg's been awfully good at in his tenure as the Braves hitting coach. He really has helped train these hitters to understand and recognize the game situation. Joe Simpson's talked about it a lot. Walker will say, hey, get me 1 run here. Get me 1 run. And then the next guy, move him over. Get me another run. Those add-on runs are hugely important. Obviously, they're a 5-1 deficit tonight.
Yeah, let's talk about it. That's the way this team's going to have to be if they're going to win. And Chicks dig the long ball. So getting a guy over, moving a guy over, it's not as sexy as a big home run, but it's baseball and it gets the job done. And it's nice when a player in the big leagues making a lot of money, again, you don't get paid on moving guys over, becomes a team player, gives himself up, and moves the runner over. Very impressive. Jason Hayward.
That was a big key in the Braves' 4-0 win last night. Now Hayward looks outside at ball 2.
Talks about how hard a worker Jason Hayward is, and he's a gamer. I think of last year when there was a fight, he was in the training room, came running out with electrodes hanging off his neck. I would not have wanted to mess with that guy.
2-2. Bounced off the catcher, Castro. Hayward hanging tough, driving up that pitch count from Cozart. The more he sees, the better he can dial him in. Another good eye. All of a sudden, Hayward, with this at bat, could change the complexion of the inning dramatically. Braves need base runners. He's run the count full with Justin Upton hitting behind him and on deck. One and at bat by Hayward. A double, now a base on balls, and Upton with one swing of the bat could make this baby a one-run game.
Chip, here's one of the reasons you only see one strikeout today from Cozart. Most pitchers pitch in combination, so they throw that high fastball and then they throw a curveball. But Cozart doesn't do that. He doesn't throw the ball high, so they sit on that pitch. They're not going to swing at the curveball. Yesterday, McHugh, 9 strikeouts. You saw a lot of guys dropping to the back leg and chasing it. If you don't throw that high fastball over and over again, you're not going to get swings on the curveball. So the hitter's going to eliminate that curveball. Jason Hayward focused on the fastball, guessing fastball, looking fastball, able to take that pitch. What a great at-bat.
And now that'll get the Houston bullpen a-stirring, as Upton, with a 2-for-2 day, gets set to go to work. Two on, nobody out. Chance for a big Atlanta inning. There's the curve, and he took it. Strike one. That was a big league bubble, by the way. Did you see that? Upton backed out of the box. 0-1. Good cut, but now 0-2.
Nice story about chewing some gum, Chip. Foulstar Colmona, one of my teammates with Cleveland, would get on the mound and get really nervous, but he had a 98-mile-an-hour sinker, so we had to keep him in the game. Like, how can we calm this guy down? We discovered if we gave him gum and told him to chew away, he would relax and throw that sinker for strikes.
Upton lays off. Count now 1-2. Remember, Cozart had 80 pitches at the start of this inning. Right around 80 pitches. Gaddis doubled to left. Hayward drew a base on balls. And now Upton stares him down. The command has escaped Cozart, and he's taking long looks into that Houston dugout. No help there, son. Cole Porter trying to nurse his man through this 7th inning if he can. Hanging breaking ball, and Upton missed it. He pops up to first on the infield fly. That ball was right at the chest, and Upton just got underneath it and popped it out. Boy, he wishes he had that ball to hit again. One away.
Last pitch, ball up. Upton just misses it. super frustrated, but we can't be too tough on him. He's been hot the whole time. It's hard to hit. The best hitters in the game walk back to the dugout 7 out of 10 times. Let's see if Chris Johnson can do the job.
That's a big out for Cosart. Now if he can get one of those turbo sinkers to work, he's got a chance to get 2 for 1 and get out of this inning. In for a strike. This is a fact-finding mission for Bo Porter, too. First time he's really been in trouble in this game. Stuff may not be a little sharp or as sharp. Pitch counts rising. Can he pitch through the middle of the Braves lineup and keep the lead? He's gotten Upton. Now he's ahead of Chris 0-2.
You can see here in the 7th the most pitches of any inning. Cosart working a little backwards. We talked about that slurve early in the game. He's starting to now throw that. The first pitch strikes.
Chris didn't offer. That ball danced off the plate.
There's that little slurve, short curveball right off the outside part of the plate, according to Fox Track, PNC Bank.
Pulled foul and out of play by Chris Johnson.
No guarantees today, but there's a reason that Bo Porter doesn't want to go to that pen. Definitely the weak link in the Astros team. They've struggled. They outrighted Farnsworth. They did get Veras, last year's closer, back in the clubhouse today.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Another full count. Gaddis at second, Hayward at first. A very long Atlanta 7th. Another payoff pitch. So like Jason Hayward, Chris Johnson making Cosart work awfully hard.
You can see 8 pitches this at bat, Chip. He's done a nice job laying off that cutter away, that little slurve that Cosart's shown that he can throw for strikes now. Just missing the outside corner.
High stress inning for Cosart. 9th pitch to Chris. And he struck him out with a fastball. Maybe his best heater of the day.
Fastball just off the outside corner, too close to take. Just misses. Mid-90s. Chris Johnson can't hold up.
So 2 are on, 2 are out. Upton popped out, Johnson struck out. Now the fate of the inning rests in the hands of Andrelton Simmons. He has walked and singled today. The hit came last time up. Got to find a way to get something out of this promising start to the 7th inning. 2 on, nobody out. Toward third, and right at the bag is Matt Dominguez, and the Braves wasted a golden chance to pick up a second or third run. 5-1 at the stretch in Houston. The Astros spoiling the Braves' road plans. See plenty of those on Friday night, Independence evening, as the Braves host the Arizona Diamondbacks. Good seats still available for the best fireworks show in the Southeast. Should be a great weekend of baseball as the Braves and Arizona hook up in a 3-game series. Too many fireworks for the Astros today. A 3-run homer by Matt Dominguez broke open what was a 2-1 game in the 5th inning. That helped chase Mike Minor, whose day ends after 6 innings of 7-hit 5-run ball. He'll be relieved by right-hander Juan Jaime. Juan pitched an inning last night and struck out 2. Those 2 strikeouts came in the bottom of the Houston ninth.
And with 3 innings and only 1 walk, Atlanta Braves have to be excited about that because he throws, as we've seen, 98 miles an hour. What's kept him out of the big leagues has been his control, but he seems to have mastered it a little better. And yet we add another closer arm to the Atlanta Braves bullpen.
So Jose Altuve will go to work first for Houston. His 32nd multi-hit game this year. 2 hits, both singles, 2 stolen bases, and 2 runs scored. And he's a little late on that fastball at 96. And it's out of play for a strike. That's downstairs. 2 balls and a strike. Braves have put the first National League score on the board today. This is an interleague game, of course, but all the other National League action is later on. As Altuve shoots one toward right, but not deep enough. Hayward's there for out number 1. Washington faces the Cubs later on. Told you it's Doug Fister and Travis Wood. Miami faces the Phillies later on. That's Kohler and Hamels. Good news, the Braves won't see Cole Hamels in the upcoming series. Miami a 500 club. The Phillies hanging in 7 games under 500 at 35-42. And the Mets visit Pittsburgh. Dice K against Vance Worley. Former Philly. Pitched well for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mets figure to get Juan Lagares back, who's been out since the start of the month with a rib cage problem. Well, the Mets could use his offense. They have not been scoring runs at all this year. Good day for Singleton. He's 2 for 3, an RBI double in the first, tied the game. He singled in the third and flied out to center in the 5th. Singleton raised some eyebrows amongst some of his big league union brethren. He signed a very team-friendly deal, a $10 million contract. Life-changing money in just about any way you can imagine. And potential options in that deal could raise the value of that deal up to $30 million, and he could be a free agent when he's 30. That's obviously, Paul, a big trend around Major League Baseball. Sign team-friendly contracts that give players lifetime security at very tender ages and hope that it works out before they get to free agency.
And what some people struggled with about Singleton is he got in a little bit of trouble and gotten suspended earlier.
He chased one neck high and is struck out for the second out of the inning.
But he's vowed to change and make a difference, and they put Dexter Fowler and George Springer in charge of mentoring him. So I think that's a nice move by Bo Porter to get your teammates involved. And you see him out here taking early DP and certainly working on things. Hope it works out for him.
Maybe heading down the tunnel to work over that bat. He was not happy with that strikeout. So fire from Singleton has had a good day at the plate. Here's Springer. There's no doubting the talent. There's no doubting this kid has a chance to be a big star. Will he learn to harness that talent? There was some concern by some of the folks we talked to. As hard as he plays, he's going to end up getting hurt because of his 110% effort at everything he does.
So Manny Ramirez used to start out with batting practice and just be nice and easy, working the ball the other way. You could see some of those. Ichiro. This guy comes in, his very first swing in batting practice is as hard as he can. And so I think there's some learning there to just relax, learn to hit the ball the other way. We saw that he could hit the ball out to right center 450 feet earlier. So he has the power to hit the ball out anywhere. Needs to calm down that swing a little bit.
One ball, 2 strikes. Fly ball belted and gone. Woo! He's got some kind of bat speed. a believer. 15 homers, his second of the series.
What's impressive about this is not that bad of a pitch. It came back over the middle just a little bit, but it certainly wasn't down the middle. And with 98-mile-an-hour heat on it, and connecting with that swing, it goes a long way.
$15 homers now before the All-Star break. That's an Astros rookie record. He'll probably have a few more before the Midsummer Classic in Minnesota. Wonder if he'll be in the home run derby.
He, like Gaddis, certainly has the power to put on a clinic and hit the ball 500 feet, something you'd want to see.
After the Braves hit a couple of home runs against Houston in Game 1, they've responded in Game 3 with a pair of long homers today. Springer and this man, Matt Dominguez, who broke open a 2-1 affair with a 3-run shot on an 0-2 pitch. And fouled right back.
And I'm sure fans everywhere would like for me to apologize for telling Springer to calm down his swing a little bit.
Yeah.
So I apologize, George Springer. Keep swinging as hard as you can every pitch.
I don't think that's going to be a problem for a man that plays like Hunter Pence. That ball got away from Laird, who has to get out of the way of the umpire. His peg to first is going to be in time. How in the world did Freeman make that play? The ball skipped to the backstop. Bo Porter's going to come out and argue that Freeman was off the bag. And Matt Dominguez, for the moment, will be out on a strikeout and throw him out at first base. And apparently, James Hoy got it right at first. We'll take a look at the replay. A spectacular move by Freddie Freeman. Look at him change position.
What a play, keeping that foot on the bag, and Gerald Laird getting around the umpire, finding the ball and firing it.
Springer's home run adds to Houston's lead. Than spending a summer evening with the Braves at Turner Field. We invite you to check out the promotional schedule online at braves.com/summer. Just one homestand left for Atlanta before the All-Star break. We'll have the Mets and Diamondbacks coming to town. And then right after the All-Star game intermission, July 18th, we'll welcome the Phillies for 3. Then Miami in for 4 starting July 21st. Then our first and only look at home at the San Diego Padres, July 25th through the 28th. As always, great tickets available at Braves.com. Hope you'll spend part of your summer vacation with us. This is Josh Zeid, his 14th game for Houston. He'll start off with Gerald Laird in the Atlanta 8th. Braves have a run on 6 hits. Houston's hit a couple of long home runs today. Fly ball center, right at Dexter Fowler. There's out number 1. We promised you earlier in the game that we have our AT&T fan photo of the game. It will be shown shortly. Tweet your photo to #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T. Good looking photo. Good looking hats. And if I seem a little distracted when we get that shot from our center field camera, it's because of the sign behind the umpire and Jason Castro. Am I reading that right?
$1 hot dogs. Is that what's getting you excited?
Yes. That. Look at the look.
Are you a mustard guy?
Oh yeah. No doubt.
I got to go ketchup, mustard, and relish.
I'm with you on the relish, with you on the mustard, but ketchup on the hot dog is just downright un-American. I have family members that put mayonnaise on a hot dog. Ooh. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Ooh. That must be the inner Macedonian stuff coming out. 1 ball, 2 strikes to B.J. Upton. That's a great idea, though. As a ground ball to short, handled by Gonzalez, and Upton's out by a step at first. And 2 men down. It's no secret times have been tough for the Astros in the standings. Anything they can do to lure the fans to the ballpark to see this young ball club progress. A lot of kids here on a camp day. You know they're loving the dollar hot dogs.
Yeah, I gotta say we're out of hot dogs today in the concession stand. Bo Porter walks to the mound.
And Zeid got his first 2 men with the 2 left-handed bats up for Atlanta. He can go to a left-handed relief pitcher with nobody on and 2 outs in inning number 8. Good day for Bo Porter's Astros. They played long ball. And no hot dogging for Houston's bats today. They're up 6-1. Perfect for corporate outings. Fan Express is a custom luxury coach bus that will take you to and from the Braves game in style. This VIP experience is complimentary, and it's courtesy of Fox Sports. When you buy a Braves group sales ticket package, log on to Braves.com/FanExpress today to book your trip. That's one of the many changes in downtown Houston. They've got a terrific light rail service that takes care of all the business, dining, entertainment, and sports corridors here. And the latest will feature a stop here at Union Station and Minute Maid Park later on this year or next. So that's exciting for the folks in downtown Houston.
They've done a nice job upgrading your downtown. As Tony Sipp comes on, you don't like to see 2 walks with all those strikeouts, but you do. He's been pretty good. Two-way player at Clemson. Keep running the college guys in. Josh Zyde just leaving the game from Vanderbilt. Now Tony Sipp. So speaking of college, 2014 opening day rosters. Over 60% of the players, 62%, had gone to college instead of signing out of high school. So if you're not good enough to go in the draft early, don't panic. A lot of big leaguers now taking that college route.
Tommy La Stella has the lone RBI for the Braves today. A first inning sacrifice fly to the man manning the 8th position. And of course, Dexter Fowler. B.J. Upton scored it. I give kudos to B.J. Upton. 3 games in this series at leadoff. Hits in all 3 of them. Runs in all 3 of them. He has led off before. And today Upton a 1-for-4 day. Stella 0-for-2 with an RBI. Broke his bat and bloops one out to short. And that'll take care of Atlanta in the 8th inning. A lot of broken bats by this Astros staff in this game and in this series. They are on their way in the American League, and in Game 3 they lead 6-1. Of the 8th inning. Atlanta hoping to sweep Houston. They'll need a gigantic comeback to do that. Let's revisit our AT&T Uverse TV trivia question. Who holds the Braves franchise record for most career wins against the Astros? Remember, their franchise began in 1962.
I got to go with John Smoltz.
John Smoltz. I'm going to go with Phil Niekro. He had 268 Braves wins. Remember, the Braves and Astros were both in the National League West. And it was Nuxie with 23 of them.
Had to give you a high five in the booth. You're on fire.
How about that? That was a pretty easy question. As the first pitch to Jason Castro is skied toward left center field. And that'll be caught by B.J. Upton. You know, you look through the Braves media guide. Braves are so fortunate to have had so many great players in the history of their franchise. You know about the Big Three, and you know about Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones and on and on. If you take the time to read the bios of a player like Phil Niekro, it really is incredible. Nuxie went to the Hall of Fame in 1997. He signed with the Braves organization in 1958. He didn't get to the big leagues until 1964, where he began as a relief pitcher. He didn't become a full-time starting pitcher until the Braves moved to Atlanta. And obviously he had a trick pitch, the knuckleball, which he threw quite obviously very successfully. But chew on this: 14 straight years with 10 or more wins. That ended in the strike season of 1981. He had 3 20-win seasons with the Braves, including 23 in 1969 when the Braves went to the playoffs. A pop fly down the right field line, and Hayward's going to have just enough room to take care of Carter for out number 2. He logged over 300 innings 4 times with a high of 342. And from 1974 to 1980 was never out of the top 5 in the National League in innings pitched. And like Tim Lincecum, he too threw a no-hitter against San Diego.
Throwing the hardest pitch to master in the game, the knuckleball. People have asked me, hey Bird, why don't you start throwing a knuckleball like R.A. Dickey and pitch into your mid-40s? And because I can't. You forget that that is the hardest pitch by far to master. Also had a teammate, Tim Wakefield, who I tried to learn it from, and it is by far and away the hardest pitch to learn and throw consistently.
Well, the Braves always so fortunate to see Phil Niekro anytime he's around the ballpark in spring training. And just a remarkable person, a remarkable career, and we're so thrilled he's a Hall of Famer, a Braves Hall of Famer, and the man that won more games against the Astros than any other Braves pitcher to this point. By the way, in his Braves career, Phil Niekro threw 226 complete games. Think that'll ever be broken? Swing and a miss by Alex Presley in his lone at bat today. On we go to the 9th. The Braves need a big comeback. It's a 6-1 Houston score. Houston, hope you allow us a little inside television talk here. Congratulations to our Fox Sports production crew. They won a regional Emmy for the Evan Gattis-driven story last year, and I'm sure the Craig Kimbrell-driven story will be just as highly acclaimed. It will premiere tomorrow night at 10:30, right after our Braves game against the Phillies. The official title of the program is Driven. Craig Kimbrell, the closer. Can't wait to watch that, and hope you will do the same after the Braves get their series with the Fightin' Phils underway at Citizens Bank Park tomorrow night. Sips still on the mound for Houston, with Freddie Freeman up there. He's another left-handed bat. Got Gattis, then Hayward in the ninth. 6 runs, 8 hits for the Astros. A run, 6 hits for Atlanta. Braves have left 4 on base. The Stros have stranded 5. And the first, a beauty from Tony Sip. Steve right 1. Paul, you know, this guy on the mound, his name spelled backwards is why not? One ball, one strike. Ripped to right, and Altuve had him played perfectly. That time the shift foiled Freddie Freeman. A sinking liner is out, number 1 in the ninth.
Well, more times than not, this shift should pay off. Looking at the charts, and a great play by Altuve, diving at the ball right there and coming up with it.
So Evan Gattis will hit with Braves down 5. Paul, this is in all likelihood our final half inning together in the booth. Joe Simpson's hoping to be back and ready to go in Atlanta on Monday. Those of you around the Southeast who missed out on the story, Joe had Achilles tendon surgery a week and a half ago in Atlanta. So he's going to miss the road trip, but we'll be back Monday. I just wanted to thank you for a great job in Washington and here in Houston. It's been a real pleasure working with you. And I hope our audience learned a lot from your pitching expertise. I certainly did, and a job well done. And we'll look forward to seeing you back in Atlanta on Braves Live with Jerome.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. I've had a blast, Chip. You'd be great to work with as well. I want to publicly apologize for the times that I have talked into you. You've got just the greatest voice around. Everyone wants to hear a little bit more of you. I get it. But sometimes I got a little excited.
What you're supposed to do. But we were excited, too, because for me, I get to work with Hollywood Joe Simpson day after day. But I got to work, folks, with a true Hollywood star. You know how we like to play the look-alike game?
Yes. And there we go. 2 handsome men.
Frazier.
I've got just a little bit more hair, and I'm trying to keep that chin hair, which now that I'm out of the game, I don't know if I'm too old to wear that or not. Maybe I should shave it. Who knows? If I did, it would be scary.
Hey, pal, at your age, any hair you got, you better keep. But great job.
I'm going for comeback head of the year, so we'll see if I can keep it up there as long as I can. And how about this guy with all the wavy stuff? He shakes it right in my face right before the game just to make sure I know about it.
If I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000,000 times. If ever the stuff on top goes, all I have to do, Paul, is comb the eyebrows straight up. I'll be in good shape. But no, great job. We're very, very appreciative that you're part of the Fox Sports family, and I know Joe appreciates you filling in so well for him. So great job and safe travels, and we'll see you at home.
Well, thank you, and a special thanks goes out to Joe Simpson as well. I'm new at this. I'm learning, and he was the first to text me and call me and give me some tips. Once again, a great teammate. I hope that Achilles is feeling better.
Gattis swings and misses. The peg to first will take care of him, and that's the second out in the top of the 9th inning. So the Braves will hope for a little help, it appears, from the Cubs tonight if they're to remain a game back in the East. Washington leads by 1. The Marlins are a game and a half behind the Braves. They too picked up a win yesterday. They faced the Phillies. We will get to Philadelphia. Too late to watch that game in person. But wide hoping Cole Hamels can outpitch Tom Kohler, at least for the moment. That gets underway a little later on tonight. 2 outs for Hayward. Bases empty. And a strike from Sip.
Nice strike at the knees by Sip. And if it's not too late, I'd also like to give a shout out to that Fox truck. You guys have been great working with me. I've enjoyed it all except the trivia questions, even though you've been nailing them.
That's why you got a bullpen, pal. No balls and a strike to Hayward, and that's back to the screen. Out of play, foul, and back into the seats. Hey, great catch. Barehanded in the front row of the upper deck.
And that fan from Waxahachie, Texas, made a great play.
Very nice. Another catch of the day.
Waxahachie, Texas, of course, the hometown of the great, handsome Harley Race. One of the all-time great wrestlers in history. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch to Hayward is on the way and low. Braves will hope for better luck tomorrow night. Tehran and Kendrick tip things off. Day-night doubleheader Saturday, afternoon game Sunday, then home for the Mets Monday night. Did he go? No swing. Late in the game, Hayward still fighting every single pitch. He's forced another deep count against this Astros pitching staff.
It's nice to see that anything can happen in this game. He refuses to go down quietly, making every pitch, every swing count.
The 3-2. And Hayward walks. Love it. Make him work. Back-to-back walks for Hayward in his last 2 times up. And Braves aren't dead yet. That'll bring Upton to the plate. And Bo Porter pops out of the dugout. And he didn't want to, but he's going to have to go to his bullpen again. So Tony Sip walks Hayward with 2 outs. And the Astros will make yet another pitching change in the ballgame. They'll see a 3rd relief pitcher as Sip couldn't get 3 outs with a 5-run lead in the 9th inning. board, 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. The Houston Astros made some changes to their bullpen. Kyle Farnsworth pitched yesterday and was essentially given his release, outrighted off their roster. That makes room for Jose Veras, who pitched 12 games in Chicago. And the Astros, as you mentioned, Paul, are an organization that is looking for any help they can get their bullpen, and Veras has been around the block before.
Well, he did a nice job for him closing last year with 19 saves, so they were quick to get him back, and we wish Kyle Farnsworth the best. Also, like Dexter Fowler, a Milton High School product back in Alpharetta, Georgia. Getting a little older, but still throwing in the mid-90s, so I think he'll be okay.
The Cubs released Veras on, well, let me take that back. He signed a minor league contract on June 15th after being released by the Cubs. So Veras back in Houston, and he gets ahead of Justin Upton. 4 o'clock here in Texas, 5 o'clock back in most of Braves country. 5 is the margin of the Houston lead. We're in the 9th. And a strike over the outside corner, 0-2. They've gotten good work out of Chad Qualls as their closer. They started the season thinking about closer by committee, but as you said earlier about the Braves, they have another closer quality arm now in Jose Veras. Kyle Farnsworth not the only former Brave to be taken off a major league roster. Scott Downs was let go by the Chicago White Sox. That happened yesterday. So Farnsworth and Downs are there for the taking should any other major league clubs be interested. Farnsworth said he'd like to continue to pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a big breaking ball sent Upton to his knees. Astros blow off the fireworks, and Washington had a couple of long homers today. Matt Dominguez a 3-run shot in the 5th. George Springer a solo homer in the 7th. And Houston avoids a 3-game sweep. 6-1 today's final from Minute Maid Park. We'll recap it for you right after this.